You ever see a band and it's like you've seen them more than once, or maybe you haven't seen them more than once, but you've been listening to them forever, and the show just isn't that good? Anyways, listening to Covenant right now. Covenant, the European synth pop group, not the heavy metal act. I believe they've got it with a K, and not the weird religious group. I think they're also with a C. But Covenant, C-O-V-E-N-A-N-T, the ones who did Dead Stars. Anyways, we saw them in concert maybe close to 10 years ago. Really good show. And then we saw them in concert like 2 or 3 years ago, and it was not good. Reminds me like the first time that we saw, well, so far still the only time, that we saw Sisters of Mercy, and it was like, dude, you got so much smoke coming out of the smoke machine that we can't see anything, and it didn't sound that great either. But they were on tour last year, pretty much a brand new band, not counting Andrew, of course, and apparently they put on a killer show. So, and then in our own experience, we've seen The Cure twice. The first time, Robert hadn't cleaned up his act, and he was forgetting the words to his own songs at the end. It was just not good. And then we saw him in 2013 as part of ACL, and it was freaking amazing. So I guess the lesson is, if they haven't kicked the bucket, and you see a show with your favorite band and they're not very good, try to see them one more time. It should be better. Also, the lesson, if you saw him and it was good, maybe you don't need to see him a second time. I don't know. Oh, fuck. Yeah. Like, let's see. I mean, obviously, if you know me very well, you know that Black Sabbath is one of my favorite bands. And at this point, I feel like I've seen them twice, because I saw Ronnie James Dio back in '98, and then I saw the original Sabbath lineup. I believe the full original Sabbath lineup, possibly not with Bill Ward on drums. I don't remember at this point, as part of Ozfest back in 2000. And then, as you all know, or those of you who care about such things, Ozzy's doing a farewell show in Birmingham this summer. I've heard some complaints about the ticket prices, but you know what? I haven't seen what the ticket prices are. But I gotta say, for as big as the show is that he's talking about doing, I mean, it's basically like an Ozfest, but it's just kind of his own. You get my point. I mean, it probably should be a couple $100 for one of those tickets, except that for those of us living across the pond, we'd have to be getting a plane ticket just to go see it. Though I need to read up. I'm not. Did Ozzy move back to England at this point, or is he still over here? Because, I mean, most of the last 30, 40 some years, he's been living in California, I thought. I know that he talked about moving out of the U.S. because of our gun violence. And I know that he talked about doing a stint in Vegas. And I know that his Parkinson's is so bad that he can barely walk, but he claims he can still sing. And I know, as far as Sharon goes, that they have publicly patched things up, but I don't know. They've been through so much shit together, and anyways, who knows? Okay, so I don't know why I got on that random tangent about Ozland, but no, I mean, because I still think he's kind of a cool guy, even if he's kind of lost his marbles. I mean, hell, he practically invented a genre. You know, what can you say? I mean, yes, Robert Smith maybe had as much of a hand in inventing new wave and synth pop and goth rock, or whatever the hell you want to call it, that that the cure does. But still, okay. So now we are once again at a stoplight and at a brain fart. So we will turn it off until the traffic moves or until the brain moves, one or the other.